Welcome to a special edition of The Breakdown. News coming out last night, the loss of Shawn Tompkins, 37 years old, the head trainer at Tap Out Gym in Las Vegas, also known for these contributions for local MMA fighters Sam Stout, Mark and Chris Horodecki. He had a fascinating impact on so many fighters. As of this past week, he had 35 in his stable, and all of them are feeling that loss today. Brent, he was one of the good guys, is what everyone says on Twitter today.
Yeah, I got to know him a few times over the last, year or so with some of the major fights. I was there when he was training Mark for the Jose Aldo fight. I was there with Chris Horodecki when he was training for Bellator 47 with Shawn was back in town. And in recent years, or recent months, Shawn had held a couple of camps here as opposed to in Vegas for some of these London guys because, it was closer to their home. The fight were both going to be in Canada, so they kind of migrated north from his usual regime over the past few years in Vegas. And, he was always willing to talk about his fighters. He loved MMA. It was his passion. It was his life. And, the guys at Adrenaline Training Center are just crushed. The gym is gutted by the news of this. They've shut things down for a week to try to, figure out where to go from here because it happened so suddenly and it's almost unbelievable.
It is, and that's what has been coming out the most. I only had the lucky occasion to meet Shawn a few times, but from talking to the fighters, talking to Mark, Chris, and Sam over the years, and you really get the sense to know him because they always preach that family unity between the group of them because they started together. They were kids when they went under Shawn's tutelage, and
well, you talk about being a family. Yeah. Like, I mean, they literally are a family. Chris Horodecki has been training with Shawn for 10 years since he was 13 years old. Shawn, Sam Stout and Shawn are family, like literally family. Shawn is married to Sam Stout's sister, and he's been training Sam since he was 16 years old. Mark has been with him from the very beginning for 12 years, from the time he started in MMA to now he's almost 30 years old. So, he's an idol to these guys. He's a mentor to these guys. He was a brother to these guys. He was like a father to some of the young fighters. The
most special moment was obviously Rogers Center, and watching him come out with Mark to "I'm Coming Home," and that was the chance they were home for that big fight, and what a great scene that was. And being there, it's something I'll never forget because it gave you goosebumps watching them come down the ramp that way.
When you speak about coming home, literally that was the first legalized UFC in Ontario. So it was Shawn's first chance to really come home. He had moved to Vegas because MMA was illegal in Ontario, UFC was illegal in Ontario, so he had to move away for his craft and his profession. And now that it's been legalized, he's been able to come back here and spend more time with his young guys that he's been mentoring. And he really spent the last couple of years of his life, or year of his life, kind of back here where it all started.
Very true. And as the week goes on, obviously more information will come out. Funeral arrangements are being planned and so forth, and we will keep you up to date on the progress of that. As the heartfelt sympathies continue to come in, people will continue to express their fondness for him.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds of comments on Facebook pages and Twitter and such. And just one last thing, when I was speaking to him just a couple of weeks ago, he was back here with his wife, spending some time in London, and he was saying that he was finally had to come back here and spend a couple of weeks holidays as opposed to working all the time because Emily just wanted to go to the beach and wanted Shawn to go with him to the beach, and he was always working so much and he never necessarily spent a lot of time at the beach. So all the guys from Adrenaline went down to the beach and they relaxed for a day or two, just kind of as a family. And that was just a couple of weeks ago. And just like that, it can change.
It is puts everything in perspective, certainly, and all of our hearts and sympathies go out to all of Team Tompkins and the Tompkins family as well. Until next time, this is Marek and Brent, A Sports Extra, ATV.ca for The Breakdown.